Welcome to the Soar Above Success podcast, where you'll learn how to soar above your competition. And now, your host, Yuri Vilk.
Hello and welcome to the Soar Above Success podcast. I'm your host, Yuri Vilk, and again, we have a very exciting episode today for you. We have Anthony here who teaches small businesses the power of YouTube. Anthony is an expert video marketing guru, and he helps businesses use video for web marketing, case studies, testimonials, and product demonstrations. Anthony, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hey, thanks for the invitation to come on. Really glad to be here and talk about what I love the most, which is YouTube videos.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of commotion around your social media feeds and other areas of your web presence, talking about specifically YouTube, and that's what we're going to dive in today. Because you're that web video marketing guru, Anthony, I want to grill you on YouTube and get your take on how businesses should leverage YouTube for their success. Now, let's start from the very beginning. What got you started with YouTube, and where did you begin?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think everybody needs to be able to step forward with their origin story. And mine was as a general contractor here in Denver back in 2006, 2007. I was just probably the youngest general contractor I knew. And I needed a way to prove to clients that I was capable and competent of taking their biggest life investment, which was their house, and turning it into something beautiful. And just coincidentally, my parents that year had given me a flip cam that I started turning on myself and walking through my projects and just annotating them. And I needed a place to put them. And the best place to put them that time was YouTube.
Interesting. So you started off kind of haphazardly. It wasn't something that you were determined to become an expert in. It just happened that way because you were gifted a camera and you needed an outlet to put all that information, because as we know, videos are massive data storage. How did that turn into becoming the YouTube expert that you are today? So what was that turning point, and why did you stop doing the contracting and moving into the full digital space?
Yeah, well, you're right, Yuri. It was an experiment, and then I recognized immediately, because of my sales background, how effective it was, and my mind just exploded into the possibilities and the opportunities that existed. But the first thing that I had to cross, the first bridge I had to build, was my ability to overcome this fear of the camera and this fear of judgment. And then I thought, wow, well, I mean, if I have to do it, other people are going to have to do it too. So I might as well spend some time learning the best ways to become a video spokesperson, because I knew at that moment that every business was going to need some sort of video representation. And, I was watching, these explainer videos and these greaseboard videos, and I was not connecting as much with them as I was with other teachers on the internet using video who were actually coming on camera and looking me in the eye. Mm-hmm. So I decided, what is this thing that I first need to conquer? I went ahead and did that, and really it's what you and I are doing right now. It's just throwing yourself off of a cliff a little bit, expecting that we're going to make some mistakes, but that not everyone's perfect, and that we're going to improve upon our experience with just doing it and not worrying about it being perfect in the beginning.
Yeah, we're all human, and I hear that. It's that fear of the camera was the most difficult thing for me to overcome when I started doing this. And that's especially hearing your own voice for the first time and seeing yourself talk. You're like, do I really sound like that?
Yeah.
That's really me?
It's a real out-of-body experience.
Isn't it? Isn't that interesting? What was that like for you? What did that feel like for you?
Well, at first it was scary, and then I got challenged to talk about something that was even more scary. So there I was as a construction guy, and I tried to find the thing that I was most comfortable doing.
Yep.
Which was walking through my own construction project and talking about the things that I was already doing. That was second nature to me. I could do that in my sleep. But what I couldn't do, what I didn't want to do, was to get in front of people and talk about the most painful thing that happened in my life, which was my divorce. And so when I did that, then I felt like I could do anything, because that was the thing that I was most worried about talking about. And somebody helped me through that process. I did it. I got on video. I talked about it. And, at that point I was like, wow, okay, that really, that felt good. I'm glad I did that. I don't have to walk around with this shame anymore. And I can just, walk forward and be myself. So, you might have some skeletons in your closet, and those are actually probably the things that you want to lean into and talk about, so that you can, move on to the other things that are much more exciting to talk about anyways.
I was looking in my closet earlier today. It happens to be right before we got on here, and there was one or two odd skeletons hanging there. You're right there. I think everybody's got their skeletons in their closet, those things that they're afraid of. Now that is, so you put yourself out of your comfort zone in a very extreme way. Mm-hmm. By doing so, it allowed you to put yourself into other uncomfortable situations, but they're not as drastic as the first mm-hmm. one, which right. allows you to be more comfortable with the things that you're not as comfortable with. Over time, getting more and more and more comfortable with video and things that you're like, wow, I can't even believe that I'm doing this now.
Right.
And you're all over the web now, and it's amazing to see that. I wonder here, I know YouTube is the biggest channel, obviously, for video production, but there's also Vimeo. And what's the difference for you from a business standpoint? Why would a business want to choose YouTube over Vimeo? Of course, we all want to, bow down to Google and make sure that Google gods are happy with our content.
Sure.
But why not other channels? Or maybe we can use other channels. What's your take on that?
One powerful reason is that YouTube gives you better interactive buttons, or better ability to drive traffic, I think, than any other venue. You've got these ability to create annotations and cards, and I've heard them referred to as Easter eggs. You see something on the screen, and do you dare to open up that Easter egg or not? What's inside? And that's, I think, what a video allows you to do the best, is to explain something, describe something, and communicate the purpose of opening up that Easter egg, and following that trail of cookie crumbs to get a solution to their problem. Because people use Google for one reason, because it gives them what they want, and it's Google's job to understand what gives people the best experience. And with all the statistics and ability to measure the analytics and the behavior and the traffic online, it's obvious to Google that video is that powerful tool that people aren't using. And I've got 4 reasons, actually, Yuri, that people are not using video, and I'd like to share them with you right now.
Yeah, go for it.
The first one we talked about already is the fear of judgment. And I think that might be the biggest reason that people don't use video in the onset, because they're recognizing that by getting in front of the camera and publishing it on the internet, they're exposing themselves to, hundreds, maybe even thousands of people that will look at that video and they're going to make a judgment. Did I like what I watched, or didn't I? I don't like it if you didn't like my video, because that means maybe you didn't like me. And all of a sudden, I've really got to be okay with not being, the perfect thing for everyone. And that's what that early stage of video taught me when I was teaching other people, and when I was using it for other bosses. After I was in construction and there was the recession of 2008, 2009, I had to get back into the work world, and I started using this tool that I taught myself earlier, and it kind of flew in the face of some of these business owners that I was working for, and it turned them off, and it kind of bruised their ego because they asked me, who do you think you are, Anthony, representing this company, putting yourself on video like that, and sort of doing it in place of them. Well, that was my job. I was their representative. I was their spokesperson, but nobody else was doing it on video except for me, and I recognized the value of it. They recognized the embarrassment of it, potentially, or maybe the power of influence, and they didn't like me holding that power. And so they pushed me out, but I still recognized that I couldn't please everyone, but that I had the ability to connect very strongly with plenty of people out there, because there's trillions of people in the world, but it's not my job to connect with all of them. It's just my job to connect with the people that connect with me the most, and that's that common ground, that law of attraction that I teach. So that's the first fear, that people don't get on video. The second fear, and the third and the fourth, have to do with technology, equipment, and money. All things that have come way down in the recent years that have allowed people like you and me to use video at a much higher level, so that people can view our videos when we're sleeping, when we're doing other things. And it's an automatic lead generator that will continue to produce leads for us into the future exponentially, multiplied by the number of videos that we publish.
Obviously, technology has gone way up, and it's allowed the proliferation of video. The way that videos are able to be published on the web now, and the way YouTube has allowed us to publish videos, basically what you're saying is it allows anybody to create their own channels, to create their own shows, to create their own business information, so that their value propositions, their statements, and their business is represented the way they want it to be represented on whatever channel that they choose. But most of us will have a high definition camera on that cell phone, so we can simply record that video and publish it immediately right from the device itself, without having to edit it, without having to. And we can even use editing software on the device to publish that video, and it produces this marvelous product when you're finished, and it's pretty easy. You don't need these really robust softwares anymore to handle video editing or video producing. You can become your own handheld producer.
Absolutely. Everything you need is in your smartphone. I work for a producer. His name is Mark Camacho at 81 Media International. He's been in Denver for 30 years, since the time when he was one of only 5 people in town that had a digital VCR that could go on the TV. And back then there wasn't that many people that needed video, but he recognizes even that there's a drastic difference from when he started to what's happening today. And what he paid $500,000 for is sitting in our smartphones. And so, we shouldn't take that lightly, and we should do what you said, and we should use it internally and externally. Here's another good reason to use YouTube. You can upload unlimited amounts of information to your YouTube channel. It's the #1 video repository in the world. 300 hours of video content get uploaded to YouTube every minute. You can use it to communicate externally with a public video, or you can use it to communicate internally with an unlisted or a private video, so that you can constantly train people to take over your particular practices and processes in your businesses. So you can continue to do more good in the right direction and delegate that which is mundane or repetitive. And all you've got to do to make something repetitive is make a process out of it.
So you mean like training videos?
Absolutely. Training videos is my next step, Yuri. Right now I'm riding the YouTube wave, and I'm telling people, broadcast yourself. But in the next couple years, I'm going to take these clients and I'm going to teach them how to create training videos so that they can replicate their business process throughout any geographic location in the world, because we live in a global marketplace.
Yes, we do. That is a really key piece to leveraging your time and increasing the amount of time, the amount of money that you can make out of that time, squeezing every single dollar out of every single minute, and making money while you sleep. That's really the goal for most business owners. When we get into business, is we want to have an automated business that we no longer have to tend to. We sow the seeds, the crops grow, and they're harvested, and we reap that harvest. And that harvest, in most business owners' minds, hopefully it comes time and time again. So your input is one time, and your output is multiplications of that time. You have that exponential visibility, as opposed to just doing one thing with one person.
Right.
A video can be one video you do one time, and millions of people can see it, and therefore it gets magnified. And all you did was promote yourself. I mean, effectively, you put yourself on that video, or you put a piece of content on that video, and people gravitate towards that.
Well, what you're talking about is intelligence as a business owner, and it's leading you to be a business leader, and it's leading you to set a good example to other people in your team.
Sure.
Yes, you can make videos, and can you teach other people in your company to also make videos for you? Videos that you can use, to train people, to grow your business. And if you resonate with being a leader in your company, then understand what it means to be a good role model and to set a good example and to lead with video. And if you are a leader, you know that it's not always easy to forge new paths and to be a trailblazer. And it comes with adversity, and it comes with mistakes, and it comes with, risking the potential for making yourself look bad. But that's what you did to get where you're at right now. And video is no different. So I'm definitely saying, and I'm encouraging people right now to pick up their smartphone and point it at themselves, because you don't have to publish that. That's the practice you need to get started. You just had an out-of-body experience by pointing that camera at yourself. And maybe it's not easy to look at first, and you stick your hand up and you look away and you close your eyes. But you just got better. You just looked at the best coach that you have, which is video. Video can teach you more about yourself non-verbally just by watching yourself than any coach can, because you know what's best for yourself, and you can observe those things that need correcting more easier and faster with video.
And I love how you put that, Anthony. Lead with video. And that's a lot of business owners and a lot of people are starting to catch on. And I think the younger generations are certainly there. I know several YouTube celebrities who have 500,000 followers, and they're like 12 years old. I'm like, I wish I had that when I was 12 years old. Now that's a business you can leverage.
Yeah.
And really, the true brick and mortar businesses, or those people who view business in a very traditional sense, not the Web 2.0 sense, are slowly catching on. But this is a huge step to get yourself published and to even have your own YouTube channel. We're really just starting to hit that sort of cusp. People are starting to realize the impact of video because smartphones are becoming more intelligent, because the software and the hardware on them is becoming better and better. Video streaming and even live streaming, which is just YouTube just released that this year, that's becoming a key piece, getting a particular broadcast or a particular message into the hands of many, so that you can have that influence and magnify that influence exponentially. I love how you put that, Anthony. Now, one of the concerns I'm sure myself and other people are going to have with video is quality. Does quality matter? Is that irrelevant? Is that something we should even consider?
Yeah, good question. Because all of a sudden, if I'm going to start to use video, I've got to learn the basics of video. Do I have to go to a Hollywood video production, Universal Studios type school to learn everything I need to know about video production? No, you don't have to do that. You've got the world called Universal University, which is YouTube, at your fingertips. So just type in best ways to create a video, and eventually you're going to discover that there's just two basic things you need to worry about when you make a video, and that's good audio and good lighting. The phones we have the capability of capturing video footage in high def. That's the highest quality that a professional Hollywood camera videographer would use in his $30,000 camera. His just has the ability to create a more clear picture and to do a better job at focusing and zooming in and panning slowly. So all those advanced methods of video production come with a higher expense, but your ability to communicate at a high level is not limited to the equipment that you already have in your pocket. Just do a good job of making sure you're well lit, like I am here, and that you have good audio, which can be as simple as the earbuds that you're already carrying around in your pocket as well. So those are the two things that I would say. My question that came out of our last conversation, our last talking point was, okay, yeah, I know video works. I'm ready to step in front of the camera, but where's my audience? Who's going to listen to me? Because even a Hollywood filmmaker will tell you that a beautiful video is worthless unless people watch it.
Exactly.
So why don't we ask those 12-year-olds, how do you think they got their first viewers? Probably with their classmates, right? They already had a little following because of the people they were already hanging out with every day in the classroom. And of course, at recess, you can imagine the conversations that happened. Hey, guess what? I published a YouTube video. Check it out. What do? They pull it out on their phone and they check it out. Then what do?
Subscribe.
They subscribe. They also share it with their friends that go to school at other schools. Their cousins that go to school halfway across the country. If you're a business owner, you've already got an audience, and it is your staff. Make videos for your existing largest staff, largest audience, and go from there. You've already got a reason to make videos for them. They're already going to watch it because of who you are and what position you're in. Make it for them, and you'll start to get your feet underneath you with this video production method of communicating both internally and externally.
So it all comes down to the existing network that you already have. Unless you live in a cave somewhere deep in the mountains, you most likely have some sort of an audience if you're connected by any stretch of the imagination to the web somehow, whether it be Facebook, whether it be LinkedIn, whether it be your like you said, your staff, your friends, your family. You've got emails. I'm sure you communicate via email. Most business owners do. And if you're not communicating by email, you're probably using an app called Slack, which is a little bit more efficient. And in that case, you still have an audience. So no matter what, you just want to tap into that existing network and get as many people interested in what you're telling and what you're broadcasting. Get as many people interested about that so that you can start establishing a greater and greater and greater audience. Anthony, is that sort of what you're doing with Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook is a great place for me to share my videos. I think there's a lot of people who are looking up to me that have businesses, or maybe they have social media businesses where they're doing business-to-business transactions, and they're recognizing that video is a powerful tool. Mm-hmm. They're looking to me, how is Anthony using video in ways that I can use in my own business? And I've got a list of 15 magnet videos that every business can use for every landing page. And we know that our websites are just a collection of landing pages these days. So even if your home page is your one landing page right now, create 15 videos that direct people to that URL. And tell people your origin story like I did at the beginning of this conversation. Tell people your value proposition. How do you save them time and money? The simplest video that everybody's looking for on the front page of your website is an introduction. And I call it the 2-second video. Hi, my name's Anthony. I'm a YouTube specialist. With that, you got more than just those 6 words. You got that I'm willing to get on camera. I'm willing to stand in front of you watching me, and I'm willing to stand behind my products and services. You got that I'm comfortable with being in front of the camera, and you got that I like to get to the point quickly because I'm not going to leave you a long message when all you're looking for is, hi, how are you? This is me. And all those nonverbal messages is really what allows video to be more powerful than any other form of communication, because it's more visceral, it's more transparent. You can tell if I'm being a phony or a fake, and you can see if I'm like you or not. And that's the number one way that people build trust, is through common grounds, things that they have in common. And I'm okay with not working for people that I'm not alike, because it's usually a pain in my ass. I'd rather work with people who are most like me because I can anticipate their needs better. I know what they want almost before they want it, and so I can give it to them on time. And that just makes for a more enjoyable life for myself.
Anthony, that is a really good point. And if you're not getting that sort of publicity out on the web, and people aren't talking about you, as I say, any publicity is good publicity. It's getting your message and your name out there, and it's only getting more and more people to take a look at who you are. And you're bound to get some criticism. There's trolls on the web. There's people who are out there just for a kick to ruin somebody else's day. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to be nasty. And those are just indicators that you're doing well. You're actually successful if people are talking about you in any capacity. And I agree with you. Working with people who are going to elevate you and they're not going to hinder your progress are going to be those are the types of clients that you want to take on. Those are the best kinds of clients because you're on the same wavelength as they are. They understand where you're coming from and you understand where they're coming from, so you can combine your efforts to create a better whatever it is you're trying to create and elevate each other. That's really the key for business. Is you're not going to work with everyone. You can't. There's too many people in this world to work with every single person or every single business owner. So you have to be selective and work with people that are not only qualified to work with you, but also understand your abilities and appreciate your skill set.
Yes, really, really good point, Yuri. Naturally, you're going to offend people on the other end of the spectrum. And there are several spectrums that we all run our character and personality on. And so to be polarizing and to be offensive and to be controversial should not only be something you intend on doing, but something do on purpose, because it does just that. It gets you more attention.
Yeah, and if you look at any of the major public figures out there, the most popular figures are the ones who are controversial, who really stand by their beliefs, who really want to promote whatever it is, whatever the dialogue that they're trying to establish. Those are the individuals that are the most influential.
Rush Limbaugh.
You can look at any of the politicians right now. They're highly polarized. Some people like them, some people don't. And we're not going to get too deep into politics here, but You're absolutely right. Rush Limbaugh is extremely opinionated.
Howard Stern
is extremely opinionated. He may not jive with everyone. That's not his, and that's fine. You don't need to. You don't even need to have, 500,000 people. You can even have 250,000 people following you. And in the U.S. alone, we're dealing with about 365 million people. Over 80% of those people have access to some form of internet or another. So we're actually talking about a gigantic audience and a potential for massive exposure. When a video goes viral, it doesn't go viral all over the web as we think. It goes viral in pockets of the web, and a handful of people see them. And there's videos that go viral daily. There's content that goes viral on a daily basis that I don't know about, and I'm sure you don't know about all of it either, because there's just too much of it to follow. So that is a really key piece. Is we're not trying to be everything to everybody. You can't. You've got to just find your niche and work with what you have and explore that. And really just, that's what the whole premise of being an online entrepreneur is, being yourself. Finding that comfort level and finding that way to just be.
Right. So be your own avatar. If you don't know who your most profitable persona is, start with yourself. Because the people who recognize that you're just like them are naturally going to have more trust with you in a faster time frame and buy more from you. So me, for example, I pick a 38-year-old, athletically built, entrepreneurial, decision-making guy who runs, a construction business, because that's what I used to do. And those are the types of guys that I know just like my back of my hand. And it's easy for me to provide services for them because I know exactly what they're looking for. And I customize my services for what they need. It's easy for me to customize them because I've been there before. I've done that. And I'm just holding their hand through all the information that they need to create the same results that I created. It's so natural, it's so organic, it's so pleasant. Mm-hmm. It's a life that I wish everyone could experience because it allows you to just answer the calling for your highest good.
And Anthony, that's a really key piece. Is you've found a good you know yourself and your business so well, and your former businesses so well, that you're able to identify those pain points and really speak to them. And so maybe somebody who is in the same position that you were in, they can say, hey, this is exactly what I'm dealing with. How does he know me so well? It's not that you personally it's not like you made a personal connection with him at any point, but you've been there. We've all been in situations that are very similar to other situations. And that's what learning is. And that's really what business is learning from other experiences and applying it to a different, perhaps a different audience, a different niche, a different product, what have you, and just taking the same sort of approach and exploring that. Because if it worked in one industry, if it worked in one niche, if it worked with one audience, it's bound to work on the same end and with a different audience, a different niche. It's just a strategy that's replicatable. And because you've identified pain in a particular industry, most likely other people in other industries are experiencing that same pain. How do I get my video published? I don't know how to. I'm too afraid to be on camera. It costs too much to get started. I don't have the right lights. I don't have the right equipment. And all you're saying is, hey, you already have everything right here. You don't need anything else. You have all the devices, all the technology. You got a $30,000 piece of equipment in your lap that didn't cost you $30,000. That's right. Impressive. Now, Anthony, we briefly touched on live streaming earlier today. What's your take on live streaming, and how can a business leverage live streaming for promoting its products or services?
This brings me to the discussion of inspiration and transformation. In the inspiration side, we're attracting new people to our brand. We're giving them education. We're giving them entertainment, or we're inspiring them or motivating them. Then we're touching them in these high touch point ways, and then we're offering an even bigger experience in the transformation on the other side. So everything you do on this inspiration side is building the relationship. It's drip marketing. It's creating the multiple touches so that they build the credibility in your brand. Marketing 101 says 7 to 9 times before people are ready to buy from us. And so then obviously we all have to monetize our brand in some way. And so we should be able to give these people that we've collected as our followers an option to get even a higher level of experience from our brand. And that is the transformation side. And I think live streaming can be used in that way. You can promote a live stream event. One of the ways I use it here in town for many of my clients is that if they'll allow me to come in and live stream their event, then it's just a win-win. They can continue to attract the people that would show up locally with one price point. I'm doing one on Thursday for $99. And we can offer the live stream to anybody else who can't make it for $150. That way, people don't have to fly here. They don't even have to drive here if they don't want to. And they can consume the information from the comfort of their own home. So that's one really good way. And I think corporations that have annual meetings, that have maybe quarterly meetings, could save a lot of money by not paying for all those airline flights, and by able to deliver their information live through a video stream. You can even have a high level of production to make it as entertaining and educational and inspirational as possible, because people are used to consuming information on video a certain way. They grew up watching TV, and if we're going to charge somebody to watch video, we've kind of got to deliver on that same level that they're used to. I see the live stream being used a lot on Facebook. Do you see that?
I do, and Facebook is a great vehicle to promote any live stream content because it is the largest social network out there, but it also has the ability to share. When users start seeing that there's a live stream happening, now it creates a sense of urgency and scarcity immediately. And you want to share that content with as many people as you can so that everyone can get on this.
Yes. I think in order to do a successful live stream, you've really got to have two people to run that. One person to moderate the comments and one person to conduct the content or the curriculum.
Sure.
Because it's just very distracting if that one person does both. You see everybody saying hello and answering questions. Well, that's really what Facebook is good at, is giving you inside access. Facebook Live is good at giving you inside access to somebody that you've already built a relationship with, that allows you to ask questions. I watched Tim Ferriss, the author of the 4-Hour Workweek, do his live Facebook videos, and those are really the most engaging live Facebook videos I've seen, because Tim is operating on a level that I resonate with very highly, and I want to get some more insight on how he does that. So if I can get access to him even for 5 minutes while he's on a park bench in Central Park, New York, then I'm going to do that. But let's say there's a local therapist that wants to do Facebook Live and has some friends and followers. Well, that's great. She can do the same thing. She can give those answers out to that short audience. But what happens if she starts doing that every day? Does she get a little stale? Do people start tuning out? Do people start maybe even valuing her less because they have such high interaction and access to her? I think so. I think that might be a mistake for some people that do it too often.
So the goal is not necessarily to do as many live streams as possible and broadcast it with constantly, but create a date and build a hype for an event. Right. I mean, that's just what we're doing at that point is just event marketing. Mm-hmm. We're creating a lot of hype surrounding a particular event, mm-hmm. so that everybody starts getting drawn to it, and those people in your audience will be like, man, this is going to start within 24 hours. I better be there. It's on my calendar. And really, that's when you get that person for that 5 minutes or even 45 minutes, what have you, for that broadcast, it's just magnificent. It's beautiful because you have the time, you have that face to face. It's as close to being there in the same room with that person as possible. And yeah. you're right on the whole airline thing, where you don't necessarily have to fly out to see these people, so you have a nationwide audience at your fingertips when you're live streaming. But the key is to do it right and build the hype before going and publishing numerous live streams. Because at the end of the day, if you become too accessible, you're just diluting your message. Right. And you want to make sure that you have a good audience there with you when you're actually doing your event. So you're not having a couple, 12, 15 people watching you for every live stream. You're dealing with a lot larger of an audience. And that's when you have the ability to sell a product as well.
Right. Yeah, it's like the next version of webinar marketing.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. Now, Anthony, I know you do. We're gonna kind of segue here and move into a different area that you focused on before. And there's businesses out there who do Google reviews and Yelp reviews, but video reviews, those are kind of new. What's the deal with video testimonials?
Great. I think above and beyond the 2-second video, the best video you can have is a video testimonial. Sure. And I think it's the best free marketing that we can have is an online review. I think when somebody finds you organically on Google Maps, the biggest thing they can look at is your rating or your reviews, and you can't pay for a review and you can't publish a review yourself. You've got to somehow have a strategy that allows you to collect reviews from the people who have already interacted with your video. I say there's 3 times to ask for an online review. Those 3 times happen also to be the same 3 times when you can ask for a video testimonial. And I've got a really high-level strategy for collecting these online reviews and asking for video testimonials. And I'll be frank and I'll share it with you right now. The 3 best times to ask for an online review are once they've made their purchase, after they've received their service, and when you're the hero. Let me explain. You might ask, how can I ask somebody to give me a review if I haven't even delivered on what they've paid for yet? They've scheduled their appointment with you. They've ordered their product. It's in the mail. Well, why would they leave a review if they haven't gotten it yet? Because they just went through a selection process. They evaluated all the different solution providers out there and they chose you for a reason. We want other people to know why you made that selection. Second, best time to ask for an online review is after you deliver and they're in a good mood. You either met or exceeded their expectations. It's a great time to drop this line. Would you mind taking 2 minutes to leave me an online review? Link to the Google listing. Because companies that collect reviews on a regular basis through the Google Maps listing will show up as the best, most relevant result at the top of the list. But you've got to have a strategy to continue to collect these reviews on a regular basis, because if you start going stale, those other businesses that are collecting reviews are going to leapfrog and jump on top of you. The last time when you can easily ask for an online review is when you go above and beyond. When you take somebody's stress level from way up here to way down here, or you take their mood from way down here to way up here, and you go above and beyond the call of duty, the best time to get that review is when you've just totally, made their day. And, they're willing. They're actually looking for a way to pay it forward and to enter into that giving and receiving law of reciprocity. So if they say yes to any one of those requests by you, and you might identify them as somebody who's extroverted or outgoing, that's a good time to ask for a video testimonial. Mm-hmm. And whenever I ask somebody for a video testimonial, they always give me 3 answers: yes, no, or maybe. And then they all say the same exact thing. What do I say? So I tell them this. I've got a 3-step process that allows you to get out of your head and into your heart so you can deliver a 1-minute testimonial with ease. And I call it the testimonial sandwich. 2 pieces of white bread with meat in the middle. You want to give them this visual, Yuri, because you don't want to have them forget what they're going to say, and for some reason, that visual of a sandwich is the thing they need to help them consume this delivery of this video testimonial. So I say the first piece of white bread is the who, what, and the where, the 3 W's. Who are you, where are you, and what did you just experience? Third is the meat. It's the experience. It's what is your biggest takeaway? Maybe what is the before and after experience? What did you think going into it, and what did you get out of it? People need to know what is the biggest value that you got out of this experience, because they're out there suffering and they're looking for a solution, and they need you to help them lower their risk ratio when they exchange their money for this solution. How can they be sure that it's a good exchange of value? Finally, the call to action. What are you going to do next, or what do you think somebody else should do next? Not both, just one or the other, and keep it quick.
Anthony, it seems like you've already figured out a lot of these things, and there's a lot of processes that you've already established within your business. And is there any way, are you working on a product that you are able to send to people so that they can replicate these processes and they're all in one place? You've mentioned 3 steps for a lot of different techniques. It seems like you have processes laid out for producing the video, getting the testimonial, etc. Do you have any plans in the works to release anything anytime soon? I'm sure this is very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely, Yuri. I've identified that the 2 most popular venues for video marketing are YouTube and Facebook. YouTube being the audience that doesn't know you yet, and Facebook being the audience that already trusts and adores you. And we need to be able to market to both of those audiences to grow our business. So I've developed a product with another producer here in town by the name of Ryan Lavender. He went ahead and took ownership of the Facebook side of things. I've obviously got the YouTube side of things. And we believe that we can prove to you within a 3-month time frame that we can generate sales for your business by creating these videos. And so, if you're a business that is interested in using these 2 venues to their highest level to generate traffic for your business, then I definitely recommend you check us out. I would just go to YouTube and type in the 2 most popular marketing venues for video, and our video will come up to the top. You can watch that, and that's an example of a magnet video that I'm going to make for you. That's one of 3 magnet videos that's going to lead you to the same landing page. When you go to that landing page, you're going to see an introduction video. You're going to see a video testimonial. You're going to see 3 offers. 3 offers that I believe every business needs to have: a low cost, a most popular price, and a premium price. Ryan and I are going to set that up for you and your business so that you can continue to make videos in the future and direct traffic to this landing page so that you can start generating sales automatically. And we're going to prove it. We're going to practice what we teach, and we're going to do it for you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that, Anthony. And one more time, just in case somebody missed that, what's the search query that they have to type into YouTube?
The 2 most popular video marketing venues on the internet.
Excellent. Thank you again. Now, Anthony, we're getting really close to time, and I want to thank you for being on the show today. It's been an absolute pleasure to pick your brain a little bit more about YouTube and get a great idea of what video is capable of doing for your business or your products and your services. So, again, I want to thank you. And is there anywhere we can find you on the web? Do you have a website that we can visit?
Absolutely, Yuri. Go to anthonyprichard.com. You'll see that I've designed my website in the same format, and you can see how I provide my trainings, my video production, and my consulting.
Excellent. And is there, do you also have, I imagine you have a YouTube channel?
Absolutely. I do have a YouTube channel, and you can just search it under my name, Anthony Prichard.
Excellent. Well, all the links will be provided for our audience on the podcast page at wpsoar.com. Anthony, once again, I want to thank you for being on the Soar Above Success podcast. It was an absolute pleasure to have you here today. I hope we can do this again sometime soon. And I'm going to let you kind of close it off for us. Do you have any closing comments for us?
Absolutely, Yuri. You've got a great podcast. I'm glad to be here. Here's your takeaway for the day. You are your own best video spokesperson because no one knows your business better than you do.